So what makes consistency so challenging?
But at the most general level, I'm going to say that it requires learning the type of skills that people just simply aren't used to learning.
Mental skills.
Mental skills, yeah, exactly. In other words, it requires mental skills. Most people assume that because their technical method gives them a signal to get into a trade, that if the method produces a high percentage of winners, it will equate to a consistent income, not taking into consideration that the proper execution of those signals requires mental skills.
So really the skills you're referring to, what you're talking about, Mark, is actually staying focused on the process, staying positively focused on the process itself, in this case of throwing the ball, in our case obviously of trading or following your method,
right,
and not being worried about blowing it, about the consequences of what could happen if this trade goes wrong.
In other words, to stay positively focused on the process of trading by doing exactly what we need to do, when we need to do it, without hesitation, reservation, or fear. And when you do, in other words, when you learn these kind of mental skills and you're able to execute your trades without fear and without hesitation, without analyzing, or even without thinking for that matter, because you don't need to think. If consistent results are your objective, then you're going to have to learn how to think like a professional trader, because that's what they do. They make consistent results. You trade, you don't think about it.